How a family lost $320,000 in their real estate transaction. Well, okay, I was scrolling on Facebook the other day and I came across this story of Sam and Nardine, who are from Australia. Now, I don't know the real estate market in Australia, but this story is just bizarre. I don't really even believe this. So apparently, their $320,000 that they lost was a deposit. Now, a deposit also in my brain is meaning it was earnest money. It was the down payment in their contract to fulfill their ends of the contract. It's very common in real estate to have earnest money. But the property they're buying is $3.2 million. The earnest money for that in Oklahoma, 1 to 2%, $64,000. Why on earth did they put down $320,000 in earnest money? It doesn't even make sense. That's the first part of the problem. The second thing in this contract that's almost unbelievable is the fact that the seller removed the financing clause out of the contract. And this is why the buyers lost their $320,000 earnest money deposit. The financing clause is there to prevent this very thing from happening. So what it does is, if I can't get a loan, I can't buy your house, right? I can back out. Well, if that's not there, the buyer just lost their earnest money deposit because the seller, in this case, wouldn't extend the contract long enough for him to find an alternative because he couldn't get a loan from this specific lender that he was trying to use. So, of course, he forfeited his earnest money because he was in default of the contract. Now, what gets me, though, is it's not really the seller's fault because the buyer said, well, we had fallen in love with the house, and so we just signed it. They knew, they were aware of what they were signing. It was the buyer's fault for not doing his due diligence with his lender to make sure that everything was good with his loan before signing something like that. But the whole thing goes back to, in the story, it also says that they lose their life savings. Who in their right mind puts down their life savings in earnest money on a house? Like, buy a different house. It doesn't make any sense. I think the whole story is false and it's just completely made up because that would never happen. I mean, maybe it's different in Australia, but like in Oklahoma, there are too many things in place that if you're getting a loan, why on earth would you even sign a contract that has no financing clause in it? That's ridiculous. I guess the whole reason I'm sharing this with you is there's so many crazy information about there about real estate and how things work, and just get your information from the source and call me because this story is just, I think it's a whole load of baloney.